Hey everybody, welcome back to another Walking Dead video here with Crooked Chicken. Before we get started, if you like this video and you like the type of content that I'm putting out, please consider subscribing, liking the videos, and leave your comments. I want to know what you guys have to think about everything that I'm going to go through. But today's video is going to be over the sneak peek that we got for Daryl Dixon's new spin-off series for The Walking Dead. And we're just gonna kind of go into it a little bit and maybe get some context on why Daryl is where he is and why the show is taking place where it's going to, and just see what is going on, see what we can expect from this series. Now, the teaser opens up with Daryl, who has landed where he is supposed to be shipwrecked. He goes into this teaser giving his story and leaving a message for whoever might find it on this tape recorder saying who he is, where he's from. He says that he's from the Commonwealth, but does this include Alexandria? Because we saw at the end of Walking Dead that Alexandria had become part of the Commonwealth, or at very least an outpost for the Commonwealth. So it kind of leaves things open for interpretation of where he's actually saying he's from. He is stating, though, that it is in America, so we can safely assume this is where he has landed after his shipwreck. And he goes on to say that he was out looking for something, and we all know that he was looking for Rick. He left Walking Dead at the end of it with full intentions of resuming his search for his long lost brother, Rick. He is saying that he has not given up on this search and he's still searching, but he ran into trouble. And he does not really go into depth on what this trouble is, but he probably ran into people that got into his way, and this is how he ended up shipwrecked on this overturned boat, and he's made his way to land and everything. And even though he says that he ran into trouble while being on the search, he wants them to know, he wants Rick to know that he did try, and he's going to continue to try, because we know that Daryl sees Rick as a brother, as the brother that he never had, and he just wants to bring his family back together that has long since been separated from destruction, from war, from everything in between, and he just is trying so hard to bring this family back together, even though it has been, at this point, about 8 years since Rick went missing, and he's just not willing to give up hope. And whatever trouble he ran into that gets him to France now, and kind of going with that theme, when he gets to France, a lot of us in the fan base thought that this would take place in Paris, but in fact it does not, at least not for this first season or this first little bit. It's going to take place about 4 hours south of Paris, in kind of an outskirts kind of area, because logistically doing it in Paris probably would have been very difficult for the production and everything, because it's a very touristy spot, and having to deal with crowds and everything, having to shut that area down probably would have been very expensive, and just all around probably not really worth it in the long run, because you would have to hire security and just have a lot of restrictions in place even to do these things around these big touristy spots. So they're doing it in south of France. Getting further into the teaser, he is wandering about these areas that are, that are very rural, because of the fact that they would not have to deal with a lot of people doing it this way. And also, if you've ever been to Sonoya, Georgia, where they filmed the original Walking Dead, you would see that it is a very kind of out of the way town, because when you get off the interstate, because I've actually been there a couple of times, you still have to travel about 45 miles inward towards central Georgia to get to this town. It's very much off the beaten path, because it's a very small community and everything, because that one street that they use for like the street of Woodbury in the season 3, that is all localized to the same area. Like Alexandria is just down at the other end of that street where they shot in that neighborhood that was gated off and fenced off and whatnot for those few seasons. And then there are spots, obviously, that are more remote and away from that central part of town. But I can see why they chose to do it this way, because it's just easier not having to deal with people. But in this one shot that we get from the teaser that I really kind of liked, and kind of is a throwback, it looks very much like the same opening shot that we got from the first episode of The Walking Dead. While Rick is heading into Atlanta, we see Daryl go up these abandoned train tracks with overturned trains and just complete utter destruction that surrounds this. It looks very much like the aerial shot of Rick going into Atlanta. So I think that was kind of done purposefully to have a callback to Walking Dead, where it all began. I want to believe that probably the budget for the show is very high, just judging from the locations that they choose, and being that it just seems like it's very much movie quality. And we see Daryl roam these remote areas that have a lot of beautiful architecture and everything. And not only that, he's wandering these mountaintop areas and just seeing that he's really making his way into this part of France. Along with that, with the beautiful scenery and everything, we see Daryl wandering these streets and wandering these mountaintops and on these trails and everything, and it takes him more into kind of a semi-familiar place, because if you watch World Beyond, you see this building that Daryl comes upon. That is the same building from World Beyond, the last episode, the end credits, with that scientist who was in this building watching these Dr. Jenner videos, and we see her be confronted by this guy who says that you made this worse, you made the end of the world worse trying to make it better, and he kills her for it. And we see her resurrect, and she is this very fast, very aggressive walker. And we just see another variant, because we got our taste of variants with the last little bit of Walking Dead, where ones could climb walls, they could open doors, that kind of thing. So a lot of it comes into question what they plan to do, if they plan to introduce these walker variants very quickly, or they're going to gradually introduce them. And not only that, from what I've read and everything I've seen, the first season's already done, it's already wrapped, they're in post-production, it is due out this fall. Now they're saying that season 2 is already in production, because there's been these rumors out there that Carol is back, and there's been leaks from set where we see them together again. And it's not real clear as far as time frame, because we don't know if this first season is going to be one and done in France and he's going to make his way back to America, but I doubt it. They're going to want to kind of keep it fresh as possible and keep different stories, different locations, different characters and all that. So it comes to wonder, is Carol going to be on the lookout for Daryl? Does she know that he disappeared, and how does she know? Because there's still a lot of questions up in the air as far as how he ends up there. Is the CRM responsible? Because we've not really seen them other than bits and pieces scattered throughout the other shows. And so it leaves a lot of questions up in the air. Did they do this? Is that the trouble that he ran into that caused him to get off course so badly that he ended up on another continent? So it's a lot of theories and different things that people are talking about, people are theorizing about. And so I actually look very much to this spinoff just because it's Daryl. Daryl is a fan favorite, and the production quality looks very high. And not only that, with the other spinoff, the Maggie and Negan spinoff, they've had 2 episodes of that so far. That is also by far a very good show, very good production quality and everything. And just to see these different stories and see it have a callback to Negan and his past, having the main protagonist or what have you be one of Negan's former crew, it's a former savior, and not only that, a savior that Negan actually tried to kill, as he revealed in the last episode, because he did not like the way he did things. But if you enjoyed all that, please leave your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys have to think. Do you think this will do well? And what do you think of the Negan and Maggie spinoff? Is it living up to your expectations and whatnot? So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please leave comments down below. Leave likes. I really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Bye.